Hello, thank you for calling us. My name is Michael, and I'm with my colleagues Kelly and Maddy. Who are we speaking with?
Hi, my name is Katie, and I'm just a student at Utah Valley University. Um, yeah, that's me.
That's awesome. So it's so cool that you go into school right now. Can you tell us why you made this call or chose to make this call with us today?
Yeah. Um, well, I mean, it's kind of embarrassing, but I've just moved away from home to come to college, and I've been really stressed with my classes, but I don't really have any friends, and I've just been really sad and lonely, I guess, and um, I can't really talk to my parents, I guess, because they want me to come home.
I'm very sorry to hear that school's been stressing you out, but I hope you know that being embarrassed about that, it's totally fine. People, it can be upsetting going through this transition, going to school, and then having parents kind of pull at you as you try to make this transition. If it's all right with you, do you mind if I ask you perhaps a very personal question?
Yeah.
With this stress, perhaps feeling lonely, the stresses of going through this transition, have you had any thoughts about perhaps ending your life or, just no longer participating in these stresses?
Yeah, I mean, um, yeah, I have.
Well, I'm glad that you were honest with us. It can be difficult to admit that to yourself and especially admit that to others. So we're very, very happy that you contacted us and hopefully we'll be able to do everything that we can for you. With that said, I'm going to have you speak with my colleague Maddy if that's all right with you, and she's going to ask you a few more questions.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course.
Hi, Katie. Thanks so much for being here and chatting with us today. We're grateful to have this conversation with you. I just wanted to start out with asking, as you were noticing that you're having these thoughts, have you started to make any plans? Have you thought about specifically how you would go about these thoughts?
Um, yes. Um, I mean, I think that it just kind of started with kind of like fleeting thoughts. Um, I just like these thoughts of like falling asleep in the grass and just being there forever. And they've kind of progressed to be more often, and um, now lately they've been daily. They've just been weighing me down. So um, last week oh, sorry, goodness. Sorry, I'm getting too far into it. You haven't asked that question yet.
That's okay.
Um,
Thank you for talking to me about the frequency of those thoughts. That can be scary to have them so regularly. I would like to ask and inquire more about what those thoughts have escalated to. What specifically have you planned out?
yeah. Oh goodness, sorry, my sister. Sorry. Okay. Can you say that question again?
Yeah. What have you, as you've been noticing these escalation of thoughts, have you made any specific plans other than just laying in the grass?
Yeah. I thought about driving into the mountains and um, just like directing the exhaust inside and falling asleep in the trees. Mm.
Thank you so much for answering those questions. I'm going to have our friend Kelly here go over more in detail that thought process.
Hi, Katie. I'm so glad that you called us today. I just wanted to ask you a couple more questions, if that's okay. And I know this is very difficult to talk about. So when you drove into the trees and, or you've thought about driving into the trees, have you ever up into the mountains and directing the exhaust inside your car, have you ever actually tried doing that or ever tried doing anything else to not be alive anymore?
Last week I did. I got materials a little while ago, and they were just kind of in the back of my car. Um, and then last week I did go up into the mountains, and I kind of set it all up and turned the car on and just sat there and was going to do it. And some hikers came by and noticed what was happening, so they came and kind of snapped me out of it and made sure I was okay.
Okay. So when you went through that, had you do you know how long you were sitting there in the car? Did you receive any, did the
Um,
hikers help you get any care after that situation?
um, I'm not really sure how long I was in there, but it couldn't have been more than maybe 5 or 10 minutes, 5 minutes.
Okay.
I got a little bit, I kind of was out of it, and they kind of like snapped me back into reality, I suppose. So to me, it was 2 minutes, half an hour. I don't really know.
Okay. Okay. Have you,
But they did. Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
Um,
Go ahead.
they gave me a ride down to the hospital to make sure that my lungs were okay and that I was healthy.
Okay. Thank you. Are you, is this something that have you tried it since last week? Are you thinking of doing anything now?
Um, I think I've kind of at least briefly gotten over it. I have kind of processed somewhat what's happening, and that's kind of why I'm reaching out now, because I'm trying to process what's happening in my mind. And I'm kind of afraid that I will try it again. So I guess I don't really see any hope right now. And I feel like there should be somewhere that I'm looking for.
Okay. Thank you so much for calling us and talking to us. I know this is very, very difficult. I appreciate your honesty and you sharing this with us. And we will do what we need to do to help you get some help right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All righty. So thanks, guys. Now we're going to jump into the debrief. So we'll just go through, you guys, what observations, verbal and nonverbal, did you notice in Katie?
Okay. I noticed she was very soft-spoken and nervous to start speaking. I know this was very difficult for her. And she didn't want to initially share the extent to how far she had gone through this process of attempting to commit suicide. And so it was first, she just wanted to share the smaller things. And then it was a process she had to work through to open up.
Yeah, and adding on to what Kelly said, I noticed that, verbal responses, right? What she told me, though little, is very important, that she was embarrassed. She didn't want to tell us these things, which Kelly had also mentioned. And she was kind of struggling with the school transition and with the family pullback to get her to come home. I think it'd be worth exploring what her relationship is with her family, because if so, she might need that extra support from them. If we can explore overcoming that hurdle for her, or at least helping her overcome that hurdle for herself, so that she can no longer be alone and have family involvement where she can get that care and love to surround her.
I definitely think that some sort of like family therapy would be good, because it seems like um, I might have like loving parents, but I might be overbearing, and kind of hard to talk to about hard things. And so I think that having like an intermediary, like therapist or somebody that can help us work through our relationship would be fantastic.
Yeah, I also agree. I noticed a lot of like nonverbal cues, as far as her being very withdrawn. And then as she opened up more and more about her story, almost like a weight lifting off of her shoulders. Like, oh, finally someone I can talk to about this that's not going to have preconceived notions with this. And just like, I'm getting help finally. You could kind of almost watch that in her countenance, which I thought was really neat. And then going forward, as we evaluated her on paper, we chose to rank her at a level 5 of severity. And as far as our next steps on a safety plan, what would you guys recommend?
I think she should seek immediate help, because if she's reaching out with a phone call and she already has all of the tools in place to try and attempt this again. She was only interrupted by the hikers. I think it's a very serious potential that she would do it again. So I think some immediate help would be good. And if she wasn't willing, hopefully she'd be willing to go into the hospital again and get some help. Or, and if we didn't hear back from her, maybe to send a well check if she isn't gonna, I mean, we'd have to see what she'd be willing to do.
Building off of that, I think the wellness check is something I would focus on. Is you need someone to be around her. She said that she was alone and that she is afraid that she might attempt suicide again. And so I think it's worth mentioning that she needs to not be alone. She needs someone to be perhaps coming to her every day. You could check with her if there's someone she trusts, cares about, someone who can help her, or even if she needs to get a professional to check up on her consistently. The point is that she has those fears. She's attempted before, and I think that she needs someone to look out for her.
Yeah, I totally agree. Anything you would like to add, Katie?
Mm,
As in
no, I
regards
think
to the
that
safety
you
plan?
guys, the safety plan, I mean, it kind of just sounds like my character wasn't very involved in anything other than just school and work and stuff. And so maybe just looking for programs around that just will help me get me socialized at school, maybe. And just be able to develop friendships, because I think that a lot of what my problem was that I was really lonely.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I would also, before we left the meeting with her, make sure that we sit down with her and create a formal plan of care so that she has an actual option to see people that she can call in certain situations, do things daily, give her skills, as well as like go forward with her plan of care so that she knows what the plan is, and so that her mind can more focus on a positive plan instead of the negative plan that she has just drudged up all these emotions for. But yeah, anything else you guys want to add before we end? We're
I
good?
think we did a great job.
I think we're good.
Alrighty. Okay, you
All
can
right.
end the recording.
Go team.
Okay, here we go.